morning and welcome back to the morning commute with Hopi living in the city. Happy Wednesday. It is 58 degrees outside and we are headed into central Phoenix. Got a bit of rain started around, I would say maybe 2 to 3. That's when I started hearing it. Took the dogs out this morning and they both just heard the rain and turned right around. So if you're traveling, be sure to pack some warm clothes. If you're headed up north, there's snow on the 17 and I-40. Just take your time. And also probably plan to leave early so you don't have to rush if you're going up for an appointment or something. But let's see what's on the radio today.
It's next Tuesday from 7 to 9. The Cartel Coffee ain't sure it's good to go because right now heating tune-up is only $69. Only $69 to help prevent costly breakdowns, inspect for any dangerous carbon monoxide leaks, plus maintain that manufacturer's warranty. Only $69 this month to get a heating tune-up at dayandnightair.com. Book 24/7 online at dayandnightair.com. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. Arizona's news station. All news, traffic, and weather on Arizona's Morning News.
Good morning. It is 5:30. The president is the next step for the Epstein files. I'm LaDonna Harvey.
And I'm Jim Sharp. That's our top story.
Mr. Speaker, the walls are closing in on Donald Trump.
Arizona U.S. Representative Yasmin Ansari says there's a cover-up going on in the release of the Epstein files. She spoke yesterday before the U.S. House voted to release that information, saying President Trump has had the power to do so himself since he's been in office.
Donald Trump could direct the Department of Justice to release the files today. He is choosing not to. They are already under subpoena, led by oversight Democrats, and have refused.
With the House and then the Senate approving the release yesterday, all it needs is the president's signature.
And our KTAR team coverage continues as one of Arizona's U.S. senators read from the memoir of Epstein survivor Virginia Giuffre before that vote.
Senator Ruben Gallego says Giuffre was only 16 years old when she was first recruited to be Jeffrey Epstein's masseuse.
Epstein did not act alone. He had help. And the men who helped him target and abuse young girls and protected him are still out there walking around like nothing happened.
Gallego says the survivors deserve justice by releasing the entirety of the Epstein files. Heidi Hommel, KTAR News.
Giuffre took her own life earlier this year. Arizona's other senator, Mark Kelly, has been very vocal in his call for the release of the files, and we'll hear more from Senator Kelly about that and a number of other things when he joins Arizona's Morning News live at 7:40. You can watch that exclusive interview on KTAR's YouTube channel.
Coming up on Arizona's Morning News.
A Tempe service provider says family homelessness is increasing in the valley. I'm Val in Overstolz.
Did Arizona's ESA program reach $1 billion? I'm Shira Tenzer.
Right now, let's check in with John Roller. He's in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, Jim, able to get a little better look at this crash on the southbound I-17, really causing heavy slowing starting as you approach Peoria now. And what we have is a rolled over vehicle, and the right lane is coned off. So you're having to lean to the left, and that is what is causing the heavy slowdown. We'll keep an eye on that, but nevertheless, slick roadways this morning. Give yourself some extra time and bring along some patience. Also adding a new crash, northbound State Route 51, right near Highland, seeing some slowing there as well. And the 51 also very wet this morning on your ride around town. And the eastbound I-10 right now, have a crash off to the right near 43rd Avenue. Your slowing starts back at the 101, the Agua Fria transition. Also some slowing on the Agua Fria transition starting at Thomas. John Roller, KTAR News.
Showers and a few levels of thunder linger across the valley today, and some neighborhoods could pick up a quarter inch to maybe an inch of rain. Otherwise, it's a cloudy, cooler day with highs in the mid-60s. I'm ABC 15 meteorologist Walter Lopez.
And right now in Phoenix, if you're near Sky Harbor, 59 degrees and cloudy at 5:33.
Eyes on education.
Local education advocacy group Save Our Schools Arizona is claiming that the state's empowerment scholarship
them to get their basic needs met. But what we're doing while we have families there is we're posting and trying to raise donations to get that family into a hotel room one night at a time.
He says part of the problem is the Family Housing Hub, which helps families experiencing homelessness in Maricopa County get into housing-based programs, has a 3-month wait list. Fallon Overstoles, KTAR News.
Phoenix police are working with St. Mary's Food Bank to reach their turkey drive goal of 24,000 birds. Jerry Brown with St. Mary's South Mike Brunette show. Some officers in turkey costumes are working to help collect the nearly 8,000 remaining turkeys.
They're here because they want to help. They're on the streets every day. They see the people that we help with these dinners on a daily basis. They know what the need is in their community.
The Desert Horizon Precinct is collecting donations until November 24th.
So in Genesis, sorry guys and roses, the November rain is here, and Colton Krolak is also here with details on when it's going to leave us.
Yeah, that's right, guys. California's weather system is continuing to bring some damp and drizzly weather to the valley, as well as temps about 10 degrees below normal.
It was a little bit chilly yesterday. We had highs in low 70s. Today is actually going to be low 60s, and it'll be low 60s Thursday, and maybe mid 60s Friday. We'll probably not even reach 70 degrees until early next week.
Chris Coleman with the National Weather Service says some areas could get up to an inch of rain today, especially in the foothills area, so make sure you pack the umbrella. Live in the News Center, Overlap, KTAR News.
Coming up on Arizona's Morning News, we are going to get more and in-depth with Jorge Torres on our weather in this storm system. Yeah, including, how about some snow? Right? Yeah. Well, we'd have to drive to go see it.
Right, but that's okay. Yeah, at least it's in our state. Yeah.
I'm going.
Right now, let's check in with John Roller. He's in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center, where commuters are not exactly dealing with snow, but there's definitely precipitation today.
Yeah, there are some wet roadways, and Colton just sent back an umbrella, and I'm going to follow up with that. Bring along a few extra minutes. It's already very busy. We just took a 1-2 punch with crashes on the northbound side of the 51, right near Highland, and then up ahead, we've got a crash block in the left lanes northbound 51, right near Cactus now, southbound I-17. That's where we have a rollover crash. Just past Dunlap, right near Northern, and the far right lane is turned on. You're having to merge to the left, and that is causing heavy slowing now. Starting just past the Thunderbird, and it is slow and go until you get past this collision. Also eastbound I-10, a crash at 43rd Avenue, and a crash involving a bicycle Broadway and McClintock in Tempe. Traffic is brought to you by Guy Von Law. Whether it's mediation, divorce, custody, or child support, you don't have to face it alone. Visit GuyVonLaw.com today and schedule your consultation. GUYMON, Diamond Law. Our clients are family. John Roller, KTAR News.
We have a 70% chance of rain today with some thunderstorms and a high of 65. As a matter of fact, we're going to stay in the 60s, it looks like, through the end of the week. We have more on that coming up. Weather brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing. It's a music and wine event you don't want to miss at the Attitudes Campus in North Central Phoenix. I'm Jamie West.
refuses to oust Maduro.
No hay otra forma.
There is no other way, says Zaire Mondaray, a former government prosecutor now living in exile in Florida. But Trump pledged to extract the U.S. from overseas conflicts, not start new ones. As for Venezuelans, most despise Maduro and voted against him in last year's stolen presidential election.
Confundir una cosa con la otra es un grave error.
But Vladimir Villegas, a radio show host in Caracas, says disgust with Maduro does not necessarily mean support for a U.S. invasion.
Lo que expresó fue su deseo de una solución pacífica, democrática.
What voters expressed was their desire for a peaceful and democratic change of power, he says. President Trump says he's willing to hold talks with Maduro, but given the ostentatious U.S. military buildup in the region, Gunson says any outcome that leaves Maduro in power would be a huge victory for his regime.
Unless they somehow manage to topple him, this strengthens Maduro, because he's able to say, I stood up to them, and they sailed away.
For NPR News, I'm John Otis. Our Business Center, a new report from the Office of Economic Opportunity projects that Arizona's employment will continue to exceed U.S. job growth over the next 10 years. According to that report, Arizona employment will increase by more than 450,000 jobs from 2024 to 2034. Healthcare, social assistance, and construction are the sectors with the strongest growth projection.
All right, we are in the green, and Lord knows we could use it. In the futures, we are up 85 on the Dow, 25 on the S&P, and 123 on the NASDAQ. For more money news, visit the Business Center at KTAR.com.
KTAR News Flash. At 5:43, this is what you need to know right now. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's not sure if President Trump will sign the bill to release the Epstein files. Johnson said he and the president are concerned after changes were not made in the Senate. Both of Arizona's senators, Ruben Gallego and Mark Kelly, were yes votes. Join us for an exclusive interview on KTAR with Senator Mark Kelly this morning at 7:40. You can catch that on our YouTube channel.
A unanimous vote from Phoenix City Council last night for $3.5 million fund to help low-income homeowners. Mayor Kate Gallego says the Phoenix Housing Fund is necessary as state and federal grants for housing have been sharply cut.
Police in Cleveland are studying surveillance videos showing masked intruders inside the home of Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. The thieves struck while Sanders made his NFL debut on Sunday. Authorities say 3 suspects stole an estimated $200,000 worth of property. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to check on your loved ones. It's cold. Make sure they have wood and heat. And stop by and spend some time with them. Be safe out there. Paz,